Hello guys, I actually had something similar in my stacks setup, you know. This is Aiyima T20 Tube Preamplifier, that's actually a hybrid, but more on that later. And I already own small FX audio tube buffer. Now the difference between preamplifier and the buffer is that the preamplifier actually amplifies the signal, while the buffer basically repeats the signal. So this one is a real preamplifier because it does amplify the signal. Let's turn that off so you'll see the power up sequence. Yep. So this guy is a real tube preamplifier with balanced inputs and outputs. Now, why would you want one? Well, tube preamplifiers are adding smoothness, warmth to the sound, and they also improve imaging. So you'll want one for your D-class amplifiers or your D-class mono amplifiers to make sound full and rich and add that magic sprinkle to fast and precise D-class. Now, because of what it does, my review will be slightly different this time. I will not tell you how this guy sounds, but I will tell you what it does to the sound it gets. Let's talk some numbers first. The specification is pretty amazing. So the frequency response is anything between 20 and 20 kilohertz, and that's pretty normal. As I've seen on the diagram on the Aima portal, that's with 0.1 decibel roll-off at the ends of the spectrum. I think it's 0.1, it looks like that. It's not completely flat, it's like that, so it's emphasizing a little bit the mid-range. With slight roll-off at the lowest bass and slight roll-off at the highest treble. But the other numbers are pretty amazing. The signal-to-noise ratio is specified as being above than 112 decibels. Dynamic range is specified as 109 decibels, and total harmonic distortion is 0.003%. And these numbers are amazing because if you take a look at the specification of basically anything tube-based with tubes only, then you would have something like signal-to-noise ratio in the range of 90, maybe 95 decibels, nothing like 112. THD will not be 0.003%, but rather something like 0.3%. So this guy is way cleaner than most of the tube preamplifiers and tube amplifiers, but that's because it's a hybrid. But we will talk about that a little bit later when we will be looking inside. Now, let's talk about the build and the functionality. Let's start with the functionality first. That's the front of the device. You can see the IR receiver window, small diode that lights up in blue for XLRs and red for RCAs, and it also has some kind of purple hue when it's powering on. We have a display for the volume control and some other stuff, and I really like that. It's readable across the room easily. It looks really good, it looks very modern, and when the device is powered off, it basically disappears. Now, as you've seen, this is a rotary knob. This is actually an encoder because it's digital. That doubles as a switch because we can press that to change the inputs, or we can hold that to power the tube preamplifier off. And we have that off with missing one letter. Now, if the tube preamplifier is switched off, you basically cannot see that display. It's very smart. The only thing I'm wondering is if the dust will be getting into these very small holes that are over the LEDs. Now, when we are powering the device on, it does a countdown for the tube preheat, and as you can see, it's something like 20 seconds. Maybe a little more, because it seems like it's going a little bit slower. Yeah. And it's ready, and you could hear the relays clicking on. So let's power that guy off, and let's take a look at the back of the device. Okay, so it's actually very small and lightweight, but not too small and not too light. In the back we have one set of XLR outputs, one set of RCA outputs, one set of RCA inputs, and one set of XLR inputs. We also do have two triggers. The first one is for triggering the amplifier, and the second one is for triggering digital to analog converter, but basically it doesn't matter what's being written here. The idea is that these are triggers, and so you can control any kind of device that uses 12-volt triggers. And we have 12 volts power supply here, and you can actually see that power supply here. It's well, it's a power supply, right? 12 volts power supply. It delivers 2.0 amperes at the output. Still, you can do way better, but it is what it is. We'll talk about that later. And we have Aiyima remote that looks like other Aiyima remotes, and it's actually quite nice. It's plastic, but it has matte finish, and it gets the job done. Now, getting back to the amplifier, to the tube preamplifier, I'll open this guy for you in a second. I'm just stalling to get the capacitors emptied. Now, this guy is using as a stock PS vein tubes, and these are ECC83, which basically stands for 12AX7 tubes. So the base tubes are pretty nice, because the base PS vein series with a red logo is quite nice actually, especially compared to some old tubes. Yeah, let's remove that one too. But you can replace them with anything ECC83 or 12AX7 compatible. You can see the sockets, and the sockets have gold-plated pins. Nothing interesting on the bottom, except for the fact that the device is matte black, and yet it is able to catch all my fingerprints. Yeah. Okay, so it should be ready now. Now, in order to disassemble the device, you need to remove 5 screws from the back. Those 3 here, and those 2 here. Then you need to remove the knob here, and let's take a look under the knob. Yeah, and you will have to remove the hex nut that's here. So give me a second, and I'll be back with open the device, and we will see what's lurking inside. Okay, so it's open now. It was something like 1 minute or 2 minutes to undo all the screws and the hex nut from the front. And what can you do now is just to slide the front away, and as you can see, the display is connected with flat tape. I'm not sure if I want to disconnect this flat tape, because as you can see, there is a glue on the lock on the connector, but we can slide the back out, and we will be able to see most of the things clearly here. So let's take my pointer, and the first thing you'll notice are 3 replaceable operational amplifiers in the IP8 sockets. These are LME 49720NA, so exactly as advertised on the Aima portal. We also have relays that are responsible for choosing the actual output, and those guys are Panasonic capacitors. Those small guys, the black ones, over here are Samsung. Should be able to see the brand name over there. And those guys over here are Rubicons. Back there you can see red German Wiemann capacitors. These are actually not MKP but MKS capacitors. Can we get a focus? Yes, we can get a focus over there. And we have some Rubicons here on the power supply section, and the actual power supply is hidden under this shield, and so it's kind of hard to tell what exactly lurks there. And we also have a JRC IC here that's used, as I understand, as a volume control. And that's it. We also have two Texas Instruments OPA 1612A operational amplifiers right next to the audio inputs. Yeah, so this is basically a hybrid construction that's using tubes, I think, as a buffers, and it's using operational amplifiers as an amplifying stage. There is a very nice block diagram on the Aima portal that you can actually take a look at, and I'll try to remember to link that in the description of the video. By the way, I love when manufacturers are posting block diagrams, because then you can understand what the equipment does and what cannot do, and you can also see other possible uses for any type of equipment. So that's something nice. Additionally, we have, as you've seen, we have two sets of outputs, single-ended and RCAs, single-ended and XLRs, and we have two sets of inputs, XLRs and single-ended. This device doesn't do conversion. If you choose XLRs, then it means that you need to provide XLR balance signal, and the output will be here. If you'll be using RCAs, then the output signal will be here. It doesn't do single-ended to balanced conversion and balanced to single-ended conversion. Yeah, so that's it. One thing I've noticed, you will not see that in here, but the extenders, the spacers that are here, those guys, they are running over and under the board, and you may be able to see that they are running pretty close to the board. The ones that are going under the PCB, they are actually pretty close to the board, and I'm not 100% happy about that. As you can see, I hope you can see, the board is dated for the 1st of August this year, so it's pretty fresh. And this particular unit is 10th anniversary unit, and so it has, and you won't be able to see that from this perspective, it has 10th anniversary printed on the main board. And we can also see the status LED, and we can also see IR receiver. So give me a second to close this guy up, and we will talk about the sound quality. Just a second. Okay, so this time it was closer to 2 minutes. Let's have the tubes seated back. Yeah. If you get one of those, you have to remember that the tubes are reaching their full potential after something like 80 hours. So do get a real solid burn-in before assessing anything connected to the sound quality. Okay, yeah, let's connect the power. This time I actually connect it for this guy, because we will be talking about that one. Yeah, and let's have it here. Yeah, and let's start it up. Okay, as you can see, it's powering on, and the diode here right now has something like purple color. So I've moved that and disconnected, so let's connect that straight, because I'll be moving this Okay, so the color is kind of like purple and it will change to blue or red depending on the chosen input. In 8, 7, yeah, like that. Faster, 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 faster. Yeah, and it's done. Now, let's talk about the sound quality and let's talk what this preamplifier actually brings to the table. As I've told you, this review will be slightly different because I will not be talking about the sound quality, that this, how does it sound, but I will tell you how it changes the sound, how it changes the signal it gets. So the first thing you will notice about the bass is that it gets warmer, not by much, but it no longer sounds like clean class D. That's cool, but that's not all. At the same time, you will lose some of the deepest rumble, like the bass extension would be shorter, and that's actually confirmed if you take a look at these diagrams on the Aima side. So you are trading some of the rumble for warmth and organic feel. That's fine by me. Of course, I would prefer not to lose anything, but that trade-off is acceptable. Moving on to mid-range. With T20, vocals get this organic quality that comes with tubes, but without any veil or muddiness. This one is very clear. There is also a small hint of warmth added to the sound, and it works very well with any kind of female voice. Now, in my opinion, in my experience, there are two types of tube gear. One of them sounds muddy for me, but that's the way some folks like it. Some folks like it mid-centered to the point when there is no air and transparency. And the other type of tube gear gets you airiness, clean and transparent sound. And this guy belongs to the second group. So if you're looking for the sound that I sometimes call blanket on the speakers, this is not for you. If you're looking for clean, transparent, airy sound full of detail, this guy is for you. Moving on to treble. Treble gets this airy quality with clarity and transparency. This is connected with imaging. As the scene gets wider, you feel like there is more room to breathe for all of instruments. I would say it's an impression, but it works fine. If you're hearing the scene wider and deeper, then you hear that there is more room between sound sources, and this adds to this airy feeling. Now, let's talk about the detail. There is a very slight loss of detail. Everything is a little bit rounder. On the other hand, deeper soundstage can sometimes unveil things happening in the back that were lost in the background earlier. Now, you need to remember that if you're adding this guy to your chain, you're adding this tube preamplifier and you're adding two sets of cables. That's additional burden to your chain. So I would expect a slight detail loss. And I'm happy that the loss of detail is so small in this case. And that's all with stock tubes. Oh, that's pretty hot. Not super hot, but pretty hot. And with stock operational amplifiers. Now, let's talk about imaging. Imaging gets obviously better. The soundstage gets wider, deeper, with better sound source positions. You can hear that easily with live recordings with audience. Just compare the track without T20 and with T20 in the chain. The effect is clear with any kind of Class D amplifier. If you've seen my D-Class amplifiers, their Achilles heel is usual imaging. They are good or exceptional in other areas, but with one or two exceptions, the imaging is not that good, meaning that the sound is wide, but it's not very deep. If you add something like that, something like T20 to the chain, suddenly it's not only wide, it also gets deep, you are getting the proper layering, and you are able to pinpoint the sound sources. So that's one of the biggest positives about adding tube preamp to your chain, especially if you own D-Class amplifiers. Now, how can we make this guy sound even better? Yeah, the first thing that pops into my mind, and I have no idea why, is that we probably should use some kind of better power supply. And that's true. For my listening test, for the second part of my listening test, I was using a linear power supply. The 12-volt linear power supplies are affordable. They are not costing arm and leg, and you can get one on Ali for little money. And this actually yields very big benefits. Immediately the sound gets even better. Now, the first thing, the next thing, warm up. A couple of things here. First one, any tube reaches full potential after something like 50 hours, as I told earlier. So do a proper burn-in for T20. Then the warm-up counter here is just for the tube life prolonging. It doesn't mean that after this 20 seconds the tubes are reaching their full potential. You have to wait for something like 20 or 30 minutes to have this guy sound best. That's when it reaches the operating temperature. All of the internal elements and the tubes have the right temperature, and then it sounds best. Then we have these operational amplifiers inside. So basically Aiyima are quite nice. You can replace them with something like OPA 627 or OPA 828. Why? Because in my particular case, I would replace both tubes, and I will talk about that in a second, and operational amplifiers. And for the operational amplifiers, I would go for something extremely fast and precise, because, you know, if we already have that solid state element in this hybrid, then let's make it the best possible. Let's get the most out of it. And OPA 627 and OPA 828 are the fastest and the cleanest guys there are. Yeah, so that's one path that I would personally choose. You can also go with Class A discrete operational amplifiers, but probably you would be using something like Acriam AK0606 horizontal ones, because as you've seen, there's not a lot of space inside. The bosons Vivid and Classic V7s were also fitting inside. The staccato was just a little bit too high, and Acriam LC05 was also too tall to fit into this chassis. But staccato does have horizontal operational amplifiers, but I don't have them here, so I cannot tell for sure if they would fit inside. Now, the stock tubes are actually quite nice, but you can do way better with PS Vane Horizons, like that guy, yeah, or PS Vane Art S series that are currently inside of my Chord LPS LP90, so I won't be moving them away. Still, I would recommend changing the tubes. The stock ones are good, but you can go better. You can go with PS Vane, Art Series Horizons, or many types of new old stock tubes, but that's going down the rabbit hole. Yeah, so there are ways to make this tube preamplifier sound even better, and these are all quite affordable ways, and you don't have to do all of them at the same time. I would start with the power supply, then I would be going for the tubes, and as a last touch I would be going for the operational amplifiers. So there is a potential, and you can play with it. Now, most of the value tube preamplifiers or buffers are using 6J1 tubes. The small guys, very small tubes. Now Aima T20 is using larger, better 12AX7 and there are tons of these on the market for you to play with tube rolling. With this small device, you can create synergy with any D-class amplifier, adding some new quality to their sound without sacrificing their good sides, except for the small bass roll-off. I would recommend some changes, like better power supply, to make it sound even better, but I was really surprised by the sound quality just out of the box. I've tested T20 not only with D-class amplifiers, but just for fun, I've also tested this with T9.4 Brewmaster clone monster amplifier, and it didn't shame itself. It wasn't as good as Carry clones, but these are beasts too. But it was way better than CAT and PRT-15A audio research based clones. So that's telling a lot. This guy is cheaper than those clones and it sounds better. It's a simple device with a very friendly price that actually works and improves the sound of your D-class amplifiers. But be warned though, tube rolling is like walking on quicksands. And if you will find yourself at 2 AM in the bathtub full of cold water reading some obscure thread about differences between some 60s tubes from a Russian factory that was closed 50 years ago, don't blame me. I'm doing the same stuff, but don't blame me. So, I hope you liked this video and it helped you in some way. I had some fun with T20 during my listening sessions, and I hope you will have that too with your favorite tracks. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day with your music. See you next time.